and welcome to another episode of Millionaires Are Made. Today we are focusing on financial health, travel. So how to travel cheaply, how to use travel to boost your business or your person or connect the network. I don't even know. It's going to be great. We got three awesome guests here. Give us some tips on how to travel and improve your financial health. If you haven't seen Millionaires Are Made before, this is a show where we believe you can be a millionaire in all six aspects of health: your financial, your physical, mental, intellectual, social, and spiritual. We do episodes on all of those almost every week. Today, though, we're focusing straight on that financial health. This show is built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone. So we bring three awesome guests on that I have no idea who they are. In the spirit of authenticity and removing as much bias as possible, I just met them about 10 minutes ago to go over the layout of the show, and their tips are going to come authentically from them. So it's going to be an awesome show. Hopefully you'll learn something from one of them, two of them, three of them, or all of us. It's going to be great. Audience, we love you. Please interact. We love comments. We love live questions. Like to put them on the spot and make them learn. So feel free to comment wherever you are: Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Insta, whatever. Put in the comments. We'll read it. We'll see it. And we'll answer it live. Also, we need more guests. We love guests. If you have anything in the world to share, anything that you think you might know that other people should know, please sign up. www.millionairesaremade.com. The link's popping up right now. We'd love to have you on as a guest. It has literally no prerequisite. As long as you know a little tip and you're ready to go, we'd love to hear from you. We believe everyone has something to share. So come on, be a guest. Topics, if there's something that in your life that you're worried about, that you're not sure, shoot us a link. We'll put a topic. We'll go find some experts and we'll teach a little about it. We love topic ideas. You know, we have tons ourselves, but we definitely want to throw shows on what you want to learn. If you love what we do, free information for the whole world. The whole goal is to just share and express and help everyone grow. Please like, share, subscribe, send to a friend, whatever it is. It definitely helps us keep it going, and it also makes us really excited at our weekly meetings when we get new subscribers and all that kind of stuff. So we do pay attention. But help us keep the show going. We love it, and we love giving out free knowledge just for everyone. All right, on to the less fun stuff, but still fun, our sponsors. So this episode here is sponsored by Grief Let's Talk About It podcast by Tony Lynch. If you haven't heard of Tony Lynch or seen him and you're going through something tough, check him out. That link's popping up right now below us. Tony Lynch is like probably the number one person I've ever met to deal with grief and loss and difficulty in life and stress. Go check out his podcast. I guarantee you will learn something in the first minute and a half. It's crazy. He puts out a lot of episodes and does a lot of talking. So go check out Tony Lynch. Our next is our famous Insta Farm here, where you can grow your microgreens right in your house. It's super fucking simple. You literally put the tray in, watch it grow. Auto waters, auto does this, uses AI. You eat healthy. It's fucking amazing. I eat microgreens all the time now. I don't even notice them. They're amazing. You do literally nothing. Fill with water. Let it go. All right. So now that we have that done, let's move into financial health, travel. I love travel. I speak multiple languages. I've been to almost 60 countries. I currently live on this beautiful island here in the Caribbean. And my number one tip to be able to travel longer, travel farther, see more, learn more. Actually, travel is literally how this show came to be. When I travel and I'm like, why don't people know this here? And why don't people know that? And this knowledge should be shared. It's so simple. So that's why Millionaires Are Made was born. But number one way to travel is learn how to travel in a backpack. I ain't kidding. I have a North Face backpack from 11th grade in high school, like 16 years ago, that I still use to this day. That's been to almost all 60 countries with me. And I learned to live with it. Toiletries in the front pocket, clothes in the back. Learn how to wash your clothes. It's not that hard. In other countries, there's tons of places that'll do it for you. Or you can spend an hour or two researching the rest of your trip while you're doing a load of laundry. But so many people travel with. I go to the airport and see these families with these giant suitcases and stuff. It's crazy. When you have too much stuff, it costs you way more money. Here's why. First off, you have to pay for baggage fees in most airlines nowadays. So that's going to cost you a lot of money. It makes you want to do less because you're worried about your things. It makes you want to stay closer and pay more rather than walking or public transport or things that are cheaper and less expensive. You land, you call a taxi or an Uber, and you go to this fancy dancy hotels. Sometimes when I go to new countries, I don't even have a place booked till I land. I'll land and I'll go wander around and I'll talk to some people. And with just a backpack, I can go find way better lodging at a way lower price than whatever you're going to find on Expedia, Kayak, or Google or whatever. So learning to live and travel with less is going to save you shitloads of money in the future. Only having in the backpack to worry about lets you be more flexible and mobile, and will save you tons of money. So that's my tip. I hope you love it. If you can't do it, I think you're lying to yourself. You can. But we're going to bring out our next guest here. Our first guest is Rohith. Rohith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
All right, I've got a first question for you. Rohith, who are you?
So my name is Rohith. I'm the founder of the 1% Travel Club.
Nice.
Our whole goal is to help people create unforgettable travel experiences while saving thousands of dollars. And I have always been obsessed with travel from a very young age. I also speak quite a few languages. And so it's something that, I've been very passionate about my whole life. And, I've had the great opportunity to help plenty of people, level up their travel experiences without spending more.
Are you based out of a certain area or are you worldwide?
So I actually live in New York.
Okay.
But it's not often you'll find me at home.
I like that. But the company, if I wanted to do your company, where would I can do that anywhere? Anyone in the world's a potential customer?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is, most of my advice, etc., usually works for people that live in countries where you have, some competition when it comes to airlines, hotels, all that kind of stuff. But realistically, yes, like my advice can help people from all over the world. It's just some people get more value than others.
Cool. All right, let's ask you the real question then. If I wanted to improve my financial health with traveling, what tiny piece of advice would you give me, Rohith?
So the one thing I would say is, this is kind of a big core principle that I teach, is learn to create a strategy to optimize your financial optimize your travel spending, rather than just looking for different hacks. Because when you have it as one strategy, it's much more cohesive.
Very cool. Cool. All right, let's get into this. Tell me where on your life journey you learned this information. How did you found your company? Give us a spiel.
Sure. So I actually have been very interested in travel rewards for a very young age, since a very young age. So when I was young, my father used to travel a lot for work, and then we would, fly sometimes. Sometimes I asked him, like, how much did this trip cost? He was like, yeah, I paid $10 for each of us. I was like, how? He said, well, I use these things called travel rewards because I travel a ton for work. I rack up all these points, and then I just spend them, and I was hooked. So when I was a little bit older, fast forward to college, I had a summer where I was like, I just want to go travel. Obviously, I think I only had like $2,000 cash, and using $2,000, I was able to spend 2 months in Europe and live comfortably. Like, I wasn't, doing backpacking. I wasn't staying at hostels and stuff. Like, I was living quite comfortably. And the $2,000 included the flights as well.
Wow.
And at that point, I was like, all right, I think I'm onto something. People started asking me for help. And that's kind of when I started consulting with people, like, how do you create this strategy? And that's the genesis of my company, essentially.
And so you focus on reward points, like credit cards and hotels?
That's a big part of it. But there's also, like, I have this thing called the 5 pillars of travel mastery.
Nice.
Where you have 5 different pillars to focus on that ultimately come create that strategy. It's like a nice foundation. So the first one is, essentially, how do you get more value for less with cash? Like when you make cash purchases, which are, paying cash for flights or hotels. The second pillar is using rewards points. The third pillar is avoiding unnecessary fees. So think of foreign transaction fees, foreign exchange fees, things like that. The fourth is, how do you get compensated for inconveniences?
Nice.
And the fifth is, how do you get the best experiences? How do you not get scammed? How do you make sure that you don't have headaches when you're traveling, whether those are financial or, I don't know, maybe you show up and your passport is expiring in 5 months and they need it to be 6 months or more, things like that.
Cool. That sounds very encompassing. That sounds like just about everything you could know about travel.
Yeah.
Awesome, Rohith. We're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so much. That's very enlightening. We'll talk more in just a bit. Hey, Carolyn, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey, Carolyn, can you answer this? Who are you?
Yeah. My head is so close to I am a breath and energy therapist. So I help leaders lead, healers heal by uncovering their blind spots, embodying their purpose, and creating, changing their story so they can create the emotional and the internal and the external freedom so they can start kicking ass instead of dragging us. But at heart, I'm an adventure junkie. And yeah, I just love to freaking travel. I love it.
Okay, good. Well, that's very important for our next. By the way, I like that you said kicking ass instead of dragging ass.
Yeah.
Sounds a little kinky, maybe, but I like it. Anyways. All right, Carolyn, let's go forward. If I wanted to improve my financial health with some travel, what tip would you give me?
I would say get off the beaten path. So,
All right.
yeah. So, tourist attractions are amazing. They're great. And there's a reason why everyone goes there. However, when you get off the beaten path, things are so much cheaper. There's so much more to gain to, as far as like wisdom and culture and knowledge and connection with others. And through that, it's like all of that, you gain more knowledge about what to do, where to go, the cool things to do that the locals do, and how to find them for cheaper. And it's every time I've noticed that I've gone off the beaten path, I've learned, discovered, found out something more about me too. Like not only about the culture, but something more about me. And it's helped open my eyes up to a whole different life. So
that's super similar to me. I mean, I definitely recommend going to hostels. I think backpacker hotels, whatever. You find the people that want to live the cheapest but want the best food, the best experiences. They know all the deals. Like you can spend like 24 hours in a hostel, meet like 10 people, and be like, oh, I got my whole trip planned. And I'm like, yeah, this thing sucks. That thing's awesome. This guy saved 50% off. That guy got this food. Oh, look at this little shop. Like, yeah, I definitely support that.
I loved your tip. I loved your tip because I was like, oh my God, like sometimes I get off the plane and I don't have any kind of plan. I don't recommend that all the time for some people, but sometimes I don't have any kind of plan. So, yeah, I loved your tip for that reason. Travel light and connect. Where'd you go?
I ran away. No, it's true. A lot of people get stressed out though. So I travel a lot. I get a lot of last minute deals. I have points and hookups and perks with all of them. So it's funny when I go to Vegas though, and I have like planned stuff with people, and they always freak the hell out because I'm like, I don't book a Vegas hotel till the plane lands, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just don't book anything till the plane lands. I get the last minute. And like a couple of my friends are like planners, and they freak the fuck out. It's so funny. And they're like, yeah, I know that you go here like every month and I will trust it, but I am freaking out. And I'm like, don't worry, my plane will land in a half hour and I'll book something. And then they get real uneasy. And then they're like, oh, we're paying like $10 each for this room. This is great. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it's done. But I went to go grab this. Oh, yeah. This was my high school. There it is. North Face. We're promoting you. Send us a check. Thank you.
I'm an Osprey girl myself.
So I never was a North Face fan. I just kind of like, I don't know. My mom probably bought it for me. I'm from Colorado, so that's a super popular brand. And so that's where I like put my books and shit in high school. And that's where I just started traveling with. And then it got to the point where I like realized I was like, dude, I've been to like 40 countries with this same stupid backpack. And it's held up. So kudos to North Face. I mean, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, I travel on a backpack. I can go a month in a backpack. I mean, you just wear the same. Like clothes is just clothes. Like you don't have to. Exactly. I can wear this and then I can wash it and wear it again in a week, and like I'll be in a new city. Who cares? Like no one's worried about what you're wearing.
Exactly. I think mine's been my one backpack has been to about 30 different countries, and it's time. And I also do a lot of travel within the states too. Like I've gone to every single state except for Alaska yet. So.
Alaska's the best. Hit me up when you go there. I got some good friends there they'll teach you all of it. Homer, Anchorage. I got great friends in Alaska. Yeah. Awesome, Carolyn. I'm gonna move on to our next guest. Thank you so much. Our next guest is gonna talk to us about how to not fuck up your trip.
I'm pretty good at that, actually. Most of the folks I talk to, they only travel in the U.S. But hey, man, how you doing?
All right. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben, who are you?
Oh, so my name is Ben Terrell. I'm in Daytona Beach, Florida, so I'm always on vacation anyway. I'm a health agent. I'm a licensed health agent for most of the country. Also a husband, dad, granddad, and a dog rescuer. That's me.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
You sound awesome. I like it. All right. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty. If I wanted to improve my financial health with travel or while traveling,
Yeah.
what tip would you give me, Ben?
Oh, it's because of the unexpected expenses that we all run into. You don't think that you're going to get injured or sick when you're on vacation, but it always seems to happen. You eat the wrong food, you get the bad salmon, or like a story I'll tell you later about a guy who was surfing, and you end up with a hospital bill that is ridiculous because the plan you got from work, the plan you got from some website, it only covers you within about 100 miles of your home. That's pretty normal. So you want to find somebody, you want to get this ahead of time, by the way, get a PPO doctor network plan so that you've got coverage everywhere you go in the US and US territories. That way your bill is not as expensive as your house.
And U.S. territories, very important for
Yeah.
those of us that live in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, right here out the window. Well, that's awesome. So you may want to talk to Rohit because he has an entire pillar on how to, make not make mistakes. I guess it was.
Right.
Cool. All right, Ben. Well, let's go into your background a little. How did you learn this tip, and why do you love health insurance so much, you weirdo?
Right. So a friend of mine was telling me about his friend who had gone surfing, and I think it was somewhere in Florida or somewhere off the California coast. The man was having a great time. It was his first vacation in years. He was out there surfing like crazy, but he lived in Iowa, so he was landlocked most of the time. Really didn't know what he was doing. A huge wave hit, brought him under. I don't know what he hit on the bottom, but it broke his back. So he washed up on shore. They pulled him up on the surfboard. I can't remember the details, but I know that he had to call around to get a helicopter to get him off that remote beach and bring him to a hospital. That's 20 grand right there. Easy. Yeah. And then you're in traction and you're there for a month before you're even healthy enough to ship you back to your own hospital where you can get, decent coverage there in network. So he had an easy $100,000 bill for 1 second screw up. That's what I thought, man, I've got to help people to get in this situation. There needs to be something that covers you even when you're not at home.
Yeah. Do you travel insurance too?
Now, I don't cover the travel insurance myself, but I have a lot of friends in this industry. So depending on where you're going, I've got somebody.
So your PPO plans, if I were to go to, you said it's all in the U.S. and U.S. territories.
That's right.
Okay, cool. All right, that makes sense.
You can go to in-network doctors. That's cheaper. You can go to out-of-network doctors because your plan has a limit as to how much you're going to pay no matter what. And once the bill goes above that, it doesn't matter. They're going to pay it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So essentially what you're saying is a lot of people, if you're traveling, which is probably when you're most risk adverse and most likely to need health insurance because you're out doing stuff that's not routine,
right?
That your current health insurance may not cover what's going to happen, and so add on a little PPO with Ben, and hopefully
add it to what you already have. You can add it to what you already have as long as you're a healthy person. It's best to get these things done ahead of time because there's a little bit of medical underwriting that goes into it. Get in touch with me about a month ahead of time so we've got time to get that squared away. But most folks don't know. The plan they get from work, the plan they get from like healthcare.gov to keep costs down, they only really cover you within about 100 miles of your home zip code. That keeps their costs down, which is great. It's legitimate. But if you're traveling, traveling nurses, even truckers, this is a tough thing for them. They've got to have something that covers them, something that follows them on the road.
Very cool. Awesome. Thanks for the tip, Ben. Let's bring all our guests out and have a little round robin here. All right. So we'll start. Hey, Rohit, can you super quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Absolutely. So my tip was create a cohesive strategy and to optimize your travel finances rather than just looking for a collection of hacks. Essentially, just create a cohesive strategy.
Cool. All right, Carolyn, what are your thoughts on that?
It's something I've never done. So, but I'm interested in the travel rewards that you talked about. So, because my thing is I haven't really created any strategies or plans. I just kind of wung it and had amazing experiences that way. So,
and you and I got lucky we didn't need health insurance or plan.
What?
So you and I are lucky we didn't need health insurance or a plan so far.
Yeah. I've been noticing the little contrast between all of us.
Hey, everyone travels differently. That's a beautiful thing. Ben, what are your thoughts?
I think,
man, my travel plans have always been make sure you got an extra pair of underbreeches and a pair of shorts and a t-shirt in case you get in a layover you can't help. So I've got to talk to Rohit and figure out what I'm going to do in the future to make sure that I'm covered, right?
Yeah, so I guess here's what I would say about Rohit is you go to Rohit's company, right, and they've already done all the work. Or you do the Carolyn and I route, and you fuck up a lot for years and years, and then you learn how your plan may work. So you can do it simple and go Rohit, or you can waste a lot of money and make a lot of mistakes and get banned from a couple countries like me if you go the unthinkable route. So it's up to you. If you're adventurous and you don't like to, and you like surprises, it may or may not be good. But if you want to go, I mean, Rohit has 5 pillars. He's got everything laid out for you. So if you need from travel knowledge, you know, he's probably, I'm definitely going to go follow him right now and start checking out his shit. Cause there's probably a lot I could still learn.
Can I just,
of course,
add one thing? So I love spontaneous travel as well. And actually travel rewards save you a ton of money on spontaneous travel, because as you know, as you get closer to a date, you spend more on cash. Their cash prices are going to increase. However, with travel rewards, they want people to spend cash initially. So when the seats aren't filling up, they open it up to travel rewards, more and more seats. So your chances of getting, for example, getting a cheap business class ticket using your travel points are much higher getting closer to the date.
Awesome. That's a great tip. So that's something to know. Everyone go check out Rohit. He's got a lot of travel tips to learn, and he's probably done a lot more smart things than Carolyn and I. Cool. We got a question from the audience. Is it cheaper to travel on your own plan or a package plan by an agency? I'm probably going to let you answer this, Rohit, because I think it's more up your alley. Yeah.
So I don't do package trips because I'm like you guys, I'm very spontaneous when I travel. I don't necessarily I like to have my flights planned out, but I don't really like to have the activities planned out.
Same.
So I can't really answer that if I'm being honest. That said, there are some times, when you go to, let's say, if you want to do a safari in Africa, you can't really do that on your own. There are just certain times when a package just makes sense, and that's when you can't do it on your own. But I will say generally, if you have the option, doing it on your own is cheaper because there's more flexibility in where you spend your money. There's more flexibility, and maybe there's certain activities that are in the package that you don't really care for. So it just gives you more freedom, and I think that allows it to be cheaper. But like I said, there are just certain times when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I can actually answer real quick on that too. So I would say do your research, depending on where you want to go. So like, for instance, when I went to the Galapagos, booking ahead of time was so much more money. But I had the space, I had the time. So I went there and I waited for the last minute spots to open up on these package cruise deals, because a lot of them, you kind of have to take these I say cruise lightly, but deal to get on some of these islands, because they're only allowed to be on there on certain ways. So if you have the time and you have the space and you have the patience to research it. Some of the things you can find cheaper last minute. So yeah.
So on that note too, so travel agents, first tip is you should never pay a travel agent. So when we book things out for you, we get paid from like the hotel or the other company. They all have commission based in there. Travel agents are basically affiliate, kind of like affiliate marketers. So I can sell cruises or hotels or whatever from a travel agent, and I get discounts that I can pass on to you. And how much I decide to pass on is kind of up to me. But the thing you're doing with a travel agent, they're actually growing now. You can do almost all of it on your own if you want to put the time in and research online, like Carolyn said. Travel agents, usually, if they're good and they already have like a package, they've already done it. They've lived there or they have people there, so they know the ins and outs. So you're kind of paying for their expertise. If they're in, obviously, like any industry, there can be good travel agents and bad ones. So if you're like, I just want to go on a safari in Africa, you find the right travel agent, they probably already have the hookups. They already know the issues and all that. And, I live on an island here and we do travel shit all the time. And we're the ones that are like, okay, I live here. I want to do a rum distillery tour. Okay, let's go solve all the problems so that you don't have to solve them. So when you come, you pay us for all the work we did ahead of time. We take you on the tour. Everything goes hunky-dory, and then you go home, but you don't realize all the back end. So it's kind of like, do you want to be super spontaneous, or do you want your trip planned, or do you want to plan a couple days? So it's kind of going to depend on how you want your trip to go. Do you want to just like let someone else deal with it and you just chill back on the beach and hang out and do whatever they say? Or do you like to, go figure it out yourselves? And so I would say it's probably going to be more of a personal preference. That's what I say. But I would also say never pay a travel agent. If they're charging you to get their discounts, that's not super kosher. All right, let's go. Carolyn, what was your tip?
Get off the beaten path.
Nice. All right. So no travel agent. Got it. Ben, what are your thoughts on her tip?
Dude, I love it. I don't like doing what's on the pamphlet. I like to walk around and do what I want to do.
Nice. Good. Rohit?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of wandering around. I love to wander around when I go somewhere. I mean, obviously research if there's certain places you should avoid, but I love it. I feel like you really get the essence of a place by just wandering around and just seeing people live, what they do on their daily lives, things like that. So absolutely.
And it's cheaper.
All right. Oh. Can be, unless you get screwed. And so one thing about my island is there's no like buses after like 6 p.m. So if you're wandering, you're paying exorbitant taxi fees. Learn that one the hard way. Paid $27 to go a minute and a half up a hill. So Jesus Christ. All right, Ben, real quick, what was your tip?
Get your nationwide PPO health insurance plan in place before you leave. That way you don't get stuck with a $100,000 bill for surfing and hitting a rock on the bottom of the ocean.
Valid. Carolyn, what are your thoughts?
I actually, now that I have a family, a little one, traveling is a bit different, but I've had, my insurance plans have included travel in them. So I've never actually had to look at that. And they weren't PPOs, but they've included the travel because we've checked on that because I am very accident prone. And I've been sick in multiple countries, and so I do check on that.
Rohit, thoughts?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so I'm curious, Ben. I usually use the travel insurance that comes with my credit card.
Okay.
I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which is one of the higher tier credit cards, and one of the best, like the main benefits of it is that you get emergency, I forget the exact term, but like travel medical insurance up to 100K.
Yeah, they're indemnity plans. And so they've got a little thing that says, I'll cover this much if you have this thing happen to you. And they don't always cover everything. They've got a certain limit they go up to. And then after that, you're kind of on your own. And so the insurance is for the things that we can't foresee, the things that no one else is going to pay for. Only insurance companies cover because the risk is so high.
That's fair. So if I'm covered up to 100K, you're saying that's kind of like I'm covered up to 100K, but is there any kind of like catch?
There's always a catch. So there might be only $1,000 for this certain injury. There's going to be a medical code that goes along with everything that you do at a hospital. And each medical code that they cover has a certain dollar amount attached to it. If you add them all up, it'll be $100,000, but you're probably only going to use about, 2 medical codes and then get $5,000 for a $100,000 bill. So that's what they run. It looks like a really good thing from the outside, but when you get down to the nitty gritty details, you find out they really don't cover that much.
So what would you recommend for like international?
For international travel, there's going to be a travel plan, and you really want to make sure it's strong in the locations that you're going to be visiting. So that is a whole other discussion. Most of what I do is for in-country travel and for American territories. But once you get out into the broader world, you've got to look at their healthcare system because it's going to be different than ours by a lot.
Cool. And that'll be a conversation. If you're interested in health insurance, traveling within, without, whatever, go talk to Benjamin. His links are in the chat somewhere. If not, just reach out to us and we'll get that to you. And then Rohit, if you want to talk to him about planning out the 5 pillars and learning how to travel, with luxury yet still affordable. Check out his link. Can you repeat that real quick, Rohit?
Yeah, so 1%travel.club, just one T. I'm also on Instagram at 1%travel.club.
1%travel.club, Insta, cool. And then Carolyn, her links are showing too. We got one last little bit though, guys. We got to do our daily challenges. This is going to be a little bit tough maybe. So we have to come up with something that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to anyone from Hiroshima all the way down to Honolulu. What thoughts do we have?
I got one.
Okay.
I would say, so when I'm traveling, I find out the best deals, the best information, the coolest places by striking up conversations with everyone. So my practice, your practice is, practice talking to everyone. Not only is it awesome for travel, like for when you go to travel, but it's awesome for life in general by finding out things, creating opportunities, amazing experiences, and meeting some really fucking interesting people. So just practice when you're sitting at the bar, when you're going to the grocery store, or wherever. Just strike up a conversation. Practice talking to people. It takes 5 minutes.
So, okay, I've got a kind of on that. Ben or Rohit, you guys have any ideas for the daily challenge?
Yeah, so first of all, Karen, I love that because I've met so many great people while traveling just by chatting them up. But mine is, out of the 5 pillars of travel, I will say if you were to focus on one, it would absolutely be rewards. That's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So my daily challenge is, it can be a bit of a complex game.
Yeah, okay.
But spend 5 minutes a day just kind of looking into it, and you'll have some knowledge. You'll understand how it works. You'll see how you earn points. You can learn how to redeem points. And, it's kind of like, don't try and climb that mountain, but just take steps. And eventually you'll have a good understanding. I also post a lot about travel rewards. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I post reels probably every day, giving advice about that kind of stuff. There are plenty of great blogs. So yeah, that's probably the best thing. That's probably what my daily challenge would be, to get started on that.
So learn more about like some sort of rewards. All right. Ben, you got any tips?
Oh, yeah, this is my favorite one. I don't need rewards to get upgrades on my flights. What I do is I sit at the airport and I wait for somebody angry to go up, somebody just really upset to go up and badger the people that are working there. And then I go behind them a little bit and kind of laugh at what they say. And then as soon as they're done and they're out of the way, I like to tell the people that I'm so thankful for what they're doing, the fact that they put up with these jackasses. And then I ask, hey, could you do me a favor while I'm here? I would like to get a row to myself because it's just me traveling today. I want to stretch out. And that's the poor man's first class there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I like to go for.
I've done that.
That's so
I've
funny.
done that as well. So I really like that. I really appreciate that.
I like
That's so funny. I tried it once. I didn't get it.
Yeah,
they didn't give it to me.
They didn't like Rohit. All right, let's try to get this daily challenge. I like Carolyn's talk to people. That's I mean, that's the whole thing about hostels and going on anything. Just challenge anyone, talk to anyone. That's how you learn everything. So a way that we can do it pretty easily is we're gonna use social media. We all use it. Somehow we're gonna have to spur travel conversations. We'll think about that in a second. Because obviously we can't travel for 5 minutes every day and go meet people. Rohit, I like finding rewards cards or points or something like that. So something like this, like let's post on. So we're gonna make a post every day, or video post if you want, go live, however you prefer to do your social media. And I guess we're gonna find. So let's talk to people about travel. So maybe we ask a question about favorite country, favorite food, favorite something like that. And then the second part I would say is we find a cheaper way to get that. Maybe we find a discount flight or a rewards program, something like that. Somehow find some way that's cheaper that make your mind work, or a way to get a cheaper hotel in that destination, but post it so that people can comment on it and we can meet and learn and more travelers can get together. Does that sound like a good daily challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, let me type it up real quick. Daily challenge.
I definitely need to learn more about the rewards for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Post on social media about something you want to learn about another destination. So this could be within your country, without your country, whatever the hell you want. And a way and a discount or deal about that location. So that'll force you to go look at flights there, look at skip lagged or something like that. And we'll go from there. I mean, yeah, meeting people is huge. I mean, it was one time I remember I was in Amsterdam and my buddy has a boat and I was like, hey, you mind if I invite some people over? And we ended up having like 30 people, all Dutchies that I met around the world. And he's like, did you just throw a party on my boat with people in my city I don't know? It was pretty entertaining.
I've met, like, I've traveled alone a few times, quite a few times. And I always meet somebody and then wind up traveling with them a little bit. But when I was in Peru, I met a guy who was actually writing a book on tourism in Peru. So it was like awesome. So we got to do all the super easy things, but then we separated. I went somewhere else and I think I was doing the Inca Trail or something. And then on my way out, he actually was from Lima. So I stayed with him and his family for free for a few days and then flew out. So, yeah, awesome. Meeting people is amazing.
All right, guys, we got to wrap the show up. We went over. I figured we would. It's travel. We love travel. Thank you all so much. I'm going to send you all backstage. Hope you all learned a little something. We learned a little bit about the 1% Travel Club, how to plan and strategize, make sure that you have the cheapest travel for your next trip while still being able to be spontaneous. We learned about, off the beaten path, learning the little ins and outs of a city that aren't quite all the touristy stuff, which is I super support too. We learned to travel light. And my trusty backpack of like 20 years and like 50 countries that I've used to go around the world. And then we learned about make sure your health insurance is covering you so you don't get sick or hurt and realize, oh, crap, I'm screwed. On that note, I hope you guys had a great time. Our daily challenge is going to be post on social media about something you want to learn about another destination, whether it's food or how to get there or language or something of that sort, and a discount or deal about that location. You can go find, they probably have a deal site, a group on there if it's in the US. Learn some way to make something a little cheaper within that destination. Maybe it's somewhere you're planning a trip. Maybe you just want to learn. Also, 2 more tips. Oh, yeah, you can check out our travel blog, 100wonderslust.com. It's all about traveling the world to see the 100 wonders. There's way more than just 7 if you've ever looked into it. So we have 100 wonders. It's going to be great. And there's the link for our stream. And then another cool thing I forgot to mention is if you love travel, the Go Wild Pass is crazy cool with Frontier. It's $600 for a year of free flights. I spend $11 to go on a flight back to Denver. I spend $11 to go anywhere I want. It's fucking amazing. You just pay the taxes. So check them out. If I had an affiliate link, I would absolutely be sharing it out, but it's a really cool